Hello everyone, may the 4th be with you. Today I want to share my top 10 favorite Star Wars video games. Here we go. Starting as an honorable mention would be Star Wars Masters of Teräs Käsi, a fighting game that wasn't done very well, but it's one of the few Star Wars fighting games. I love it because it's before the prequel trilogy, so it has to do with all the characters from the Star Wars original trilogy and expanded universe. I love the fighting. It's very much like Virtua Fighter or Tekken, and even though the combos are a bit difficult, it's really easy to win because the opponent would just walk out of the ring and you have a ring out. But I love playing Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Chewbacca. Yeah, there's even a freaking Tusken Raider named Horror. Kinda strange, I know. But besides that, we also get to see Leia Organa with her orange lightsaber from the novels. How cool is that? I loved this game as a kid, but it doesn't quite make the top 10. Starting the list at number 10 would be Star Wars Starfighter. This was one of the first major PlayStation 2 Star Wars video games. You basically play a Naboo starfighter during the time of the Phantom Menace. I love the controls. It's very much like a first-person starfighter game. I love the cinematics, very much ahead of its time with the CGI cinematics, and then having you play as a Naboo starfighter in different missions with different objectives. Overall, it was a fun early PS2 video game. Above that at number 9 is its sequel, Star Wars Jedi Starfighter. This game was even better. It was basically during Attack of the Clones and a little bit before. I love seeing Mace Windu, Count Dooku, you being a Jedi starfighter. Again, this has CGI cutscenes that were interrupted with gameplay. The gameplay was even better in this one. Overall, this was a nice starfighter video game for the PlayStation 2 and really got you in the mood for Attack of the Clones. Above that at number 8 is Star Wars Jedi Power Battles. This was a blast as a child. The Episode 1 game was a bit difficult, but this one was so old that Mace Windu still had his blue lightsaber. That's right, before the purple one, he had the blue one from Phantom Menace. I love playing several Jedi, and this was a very fun game. It was very much in the vein of the Phantom Menace or Revenge of the Sith game, but the controls were better. You could go from playing a number of Jedi and having some vehicle missions against the Trade Federation in the game. Overall, if you're a fan of the prequels, especially like Phantom Menace, this is totally like during the Phantom Menace time of Star Wars, and I love playing young Obi-Wan and Mace Windu. This is one of the reasons why Mace Windu is my favorite character from the prequel trilogy. Overall, not a bad action game if you're a fan of Jedis. Above that, at number 7, I have two tied. The first being Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader. This was on the GameCube, a sequel to Star Wars Rogue Squadron. I love it. Wedge Antilles is back. They actually got the actor to play his voice. I love the Rogue Squadron books, and this took it to a whole new level with the starfighting gameplay. This is one of the best Starfighter Star Wars games I've ever played. Besides the gameplay in the Battlefront games, this is probably the best I've seen the starfighting. And yeah, you get to play Rogue Leader as a freaking X-Wing. How cool is that? That is the most Star Wars you can get, and the graphics and gameplay still hold up to this day for being a GameCube game. Overall, this is a blast, and it shows you how far ahead LucasArts was with their Star Wars video games that I feel like EA and other companies have not gotten close to yet. Another one tied at number 7 is the Star Wars Trilogy Arcade. Now, this would be like the deluxe edition. I love playing this around 97, 98. After the special edition and the both VHS releases, we had the Star Wars Trilogy Arcade. I love playing as an X-Wing on the Death Star Assault. I love playing on Hoth and then the Death Star 2 battle and other places. Overall, this was the go-to game when I was at Peter Piper Pizza or any other arcade. This and the Star Wars pod racing, but I just love the gameplay here. Not your traditional game as far as consoles, but still one of my favorite Star Wars video games. Above that at number 6, I have another two tied. The first being Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast. I love Jedi Outcast. Yes, this is one of the first games to make you feel like a Jedi. And it features dismemberment. That's right. Dismemberment! But I love that you get to play as the character of Kyle Katarn. You know, that's a popular character from the expanded universe. And yeah, he should be canon. He's one of the best characters in Star Wars. He's one of the original people to actually steal the Death Star plans. I love it because you get to be under Luke Skywalker's Jedi Academy. And it has its own original story and battles from there. The battles are intense, and it mixes between first-person to third-person gameplay. It still holds up quite well. Also tied for number 6 is EA's Star Wars Battlefront II. I wasn't sure what to think about Battlefront 1. It was kind of short, but I love the campaign here with Iden Versio. And you know what? This video game does a better job at explaining what the hell the First Order is than a film. I learned more about the First Order and the sequel trilogy than I did in the actual sequel trilogy films, and that's sad. But I love that you're basically a Special Forces Imperial officer. I love the cameos of Lando Calrissian, Leia Organa, Han Solo, and Luke Skywalker. This is the Luke Skywalker we all know and love.
Why'd you help me? Because you asked.
Oh my gosh, such an amazing scene. All the way to the end, and then the whole DLC. You have Kylo Ren, and then you actually get to see why the First Order didn't defeat the Resistance on Starkiller, based on why there is a crap ton of First Order ships towards the Resistance base. They basically filled up the plot holes and did a better job of explaining the universe than the films. And that's sad, but besides that, the multiplayer to Battlefront 2 is a blast. Going from your favorite heroes, different armies from each trilogy, all the way to the starfighting. And I hate it when you try to get hero ships and somebody steals your kill. It took me forever to get Platinum, but I got Platinum on Battlefront 2, and I have to say, it got off to a rocky start at launch, but with all the patches, all the updates, this has been a blast in the online community with Battlefront 2. Above that at number 5 is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I love Fallen Order. You know, you have the character of Cal Kestis that Cameron Monaghan plays. I love seeing the Inquisitor. He's such a great villain. This has so many surprises. I also love seeing Forrest Whitaker back as Saw Gerrera. Overall, this is an original Star Wars tale. I love it. It's in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. So it's definitely around that like Rogue One era, and definitely has the feel of the prequel trilogy and original trilogies. And yes, it does have an array of ponchos you could wear, but you can also customize your own lightsaber, have a double-bladed lightsaber. I love the gameplay in this game. The cinematics are seamless. It's very much like God of War, mixed in with like Prince of Persia mechanics if it was in a Tomb Raider video game. That's pretty much what Fallen Order is. There's a lot of exploration. BD1 is so cute. And yeah, Cliff from Matlock plays a four-armed alien in this. I love the crew. You being on a ship going planet to planet. It has a main objective, but in many ways it feels like a free-roaming video game. It's one of the best Star Wars video games I've ever played. I'm so glad that went back to single player. A game that surprised me and actually has a better story than some of the movies. After that at number 4 is Star Wars The Force Unleashed. I love this video game. Sam Witwer plays Starkiller, and he's Darth Vader's secret apprentice. This, again, is in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, but you get to see how the Rebel Alliance was made, the reasons why the Rebel Alliance has that logo. And I love playing this powerful Jedi. Who could forget the teaser where that he's bringing down a Star Destroyer? The beginning, you get to play as Darth Vader on Kashyyyk, just wreaking havoc. This has a wonderful story, and it works as a standalone. You have a sequel that goes into cloning and different sides and multiple endings, but this is a good standalone video game that's action-packed from beginning to end, wonderful voice work performances, cinematics that feel epic, larger than life, and this is just a pure Star Wars story with many favorite faces making cameos. Overall, this to me was probably one of the last great Star Wars video games from LucasArts before it got sold to Disney. And I wish they'd make a movie of this because Sam Witwer still looks the same. He could do it. After that at number 3 is Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith for the PlayStation 2. This game is a blast, and it's the best movie adaptation video game I've played. It definitely has the best Jedi fighting gameplay I've played in a Star Wars video game. You know, go from Obi-Wan, Anakin, and it has like different cutscenes from the movie interwoven into the gameplay. The Mace Windu fight is a bit different, dragged out. It also features some deleted scenes and cut lines. I love the part with Count Dooku at the beginning. I love you just free roaming. And it's very much like Phantom Menace and Jedi power battles, but they perfected the lightsaber gameplay. It doesn't feel like you're just going around trying to whack stuff. You feel like a Jedi. There's a fluidity to it. There's a flow. All the way to the end, it is just intense and just climatic in every epic way. I also like the alternate ending where it shows what if Anakin actually defeated Obi-Wan, so they go there. Overall, it was a blast. After that, at number 2 is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. This is one of the finest RPG video games ever made. You know, outside of Final Fantasy, Mass Effect, I think of KOTOR. This is an amazing Star Wars video game that added more to the mythology of Star Wars. I love the characters. You know, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic takes place 4,000 years before the Star Wars films, so you get to see a completely different time period. It is the Old Republic. I love Darth Raven, and then who could forget Darth Malak? Gosh, he needs to be canon. That's one of the best Star Wars characters I've seen, and I love all the characters in this video game, but what I love the most is you get to choose whether to be a Jedi or a Sith, and the story kind of shifts depending on the path you choose. Overall, this is a really huge RPG video game that is just among the best. No wonder it had a sequel. I would love to see them remaster this for the PS4 and Xbox One. Above that, for my favorite Star Wars video game is Star Wars Battlefront 2 for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. I love this game. I love the first Battlefront. The first Battlefront brought us like battles to play from the movies that we always wanted to play. This took it to the next level with the prequel trilogy and original, and then also they added space combat, and still to this day has the best space combat. I love pressing circle twice and doing a U-turn. I always love playing the Utapau bomber or like a TIE bomber. The fighting was so fast, so intense, but you could actually pilot your ship, you know? It wasn't like the new ones where it just feels like it's slow or you're just trying to figure out where to go. No. And you could go inside other larger like freighters, like Star Destroyers and stuff, and go in and like just capture a command post. But the story was so well done by basically giving us the perspective of the clone troopers during the Clone Wars all the way to Execute Order 66. Wow, it added so much history to what was already there in the Clone Wars and in the prequel films, especially Revenge of the Sith. And yeah, this is just one of the best Star Wars video games I've ever played. It's a large world, large levels. Just the scope of this is like something I haven't yet to see, you know? I have not seen this repeated in next-gen consoles, and I would love to see a next-gen version of this type of video game. That is still my favorite Star Wars video game to this day. Feel free down in the comments below. Let me know your favorite Star Wars video games. You can follow me at Fred Film Fanatic on Stardust and Instagram for more content. Check out these videos and feel free to subscribe. And stay tuned for my next video. I'm going to be taking a bit of a break, but y'all voted on social media and y'all wanted to see original content. So for my 600th video on this channel, I'm going to have some original content just for you. Till next time, everyone, may the Force be with you, always.